YouTube. This is proof that fish fertilizer works. I'm putting that Alaskan fish fertilizer on these shrubs. The apartment buildings had cut them down and I don't have much privacy. So I began fertilizing them with fish fertilizer. And as you can see, look at those flowers. These are all flowers. I'm not sure what type of evergreen it is, but it is really pretty. But that's how well that fish fertilizer works. This one too. Well, this dead flower was all white a few weeks ago. See, there's still some right there. But that was all because of my fish fertilizer. They don't normally flower that hard. This one I didn't put as much on the smaller one, and it does have some little buds on it, flowers, as you can see. But this one, that's how well that stuff works. Just a capful in the gallon of water, shake it up. Tons of flowers. There's lots of amino acids, and that's a lot of those proteins cause the flowering to be so high. It's rated at like 511 or 911. I usually add the flowering boost fish fertilizer too, and then you'll see even bigger flowers than that, even more. But just with the basic one for grow, you get these types of flowers, and they smell really good. Then I'll update you real fast on my garden. Looking at my yellow raspberry. Got really full. Had some burn on it. But we were cloudy for a few weeks and then we just got back. But look how thick these flowering tops are. Tons of leaves. It's got some damage from bugs too. It's not really a big deal. I just doubled the pot size. It went from a small pot like that one to that. And of course the blackberries are doing good. They're starting to grow again. Strawberries, we got flowers, some strawberries, and blueberries. This is 420, April 20th, 2016, and I'm already having blueberries. I picked all the ripe ones. We wound up going through it so the new ones could grow. That's a container. This has a lot of, usually the soil out here is really fertile, as you can tell, but out here in Vancouver, this actually wound up having some clay and sand in it. It's actually really good to mix with potting mix. It's growing really well. The soil, you know, I might have to add something to make it more acidic, but it actually does really well with the mix of something acidic with some regular alkaline soil and then add to it. It usually grows really nice plants. As you can tell, since I've transplanted it, it's gotten pretty bushy, lots of new growth. These are the other ones I'm not as impressed with, but they have a lot of flowers. Not too many of them are turning into blueberries though, but we get quite a bit of new growth, so I'm not too worried. We still have a few months, and then next year they'll probably produce a lot. They're in pretty big pots, and I topped it off. You saw in my last video. Brandy wire raspberries right here. It's gotten a little sick. It's inside this little like Halloween cauldron for right now, and then when it grows out I'll put it in a bigger pot. That's my blackberry, the kind you see in Yosemite, the wild one. It doesn't like as much direct sunlight, I've noticed. It's really yellowing. The sun's like too bright for it. It's used to being shaded by trees. It's doing good. Now it's back to the blueberries on the other side. All these pots I found, or I, modified and poked more holes in and stuff, so they drain better. This big one, it's got a lot of regular soil in it, brown soil. I don't know if you guys could see. There you go. But yeah, I'm gonna mix it with potting soil and then plant this blueberry, which is doing pretty good. It does need to be transplanted though. All these needed to be transplanted within a month or two of the fish fertilizer. No kidding, this whole thing is just roots. And then when I transplant it to a bigger pot, it's just gonna stretch out. I don't like to break up root balls or any of that. I just usually mix soil with potting soil, expensive ones. I like to make sure they get minerals, and use some dirt. But it makes a big difference in the long run. I had lots of mulch, compost, manures, fertilizers. Molasses is really good too. My leaves would be a lot fatter and bulkier and put on more weight if I had molasses. I think I got a little bit in the house I could probably give them. But definitely not as good without the fish fertilizer. I think I'm going to add, I got some natural farm honey. And I think I'm going to mix it up in a gallon of water, maybe just like a spoonful, and then feed these plants that. The microbes feed off the simple sugars and the less complex carbohydrates, and it gives them something to eat so they could grow more, and then they could break down other stuff in the soil. You don't want to give them too much because they'll get lazy. But the plants do take on some of the sugar, and you will see a huge difference because they won't need to make as much sugar. My plants only get like 6 hours of direct sunlight here, but they get over 12 hours of light. So that would kind of help giving them some sugar so they don't have to make as much. I wish I can get them more sun. It's just, you got to worry about stuff happening to them, or this is kind of a safe spot, and I'm happy with it. I'll probably move them inside the house during the winter and try to produce berries all winter. Lots of people do that. But it'll probably produce enough for me and my girlfriend. Not more than a quarter plant or something. Maybe a few quarts. Maybe even like quarter pound of them or half pound a plant. Next season I'll probably get more, and it'll increase each year until I plant them in the ground. Then hopefully by this I'll develop such a nice root system when I do put them in the ground. They'll take off, and just babying them for a few years until they're huge and they're worth it, and then put them in the ground and they become huge bushes. Most of those blueberries will get 15 feet around. Some of the other berries will get smaller or bigger. Blackberries get bigger, raspberries are smaller. 6 feet around. Blackberries, they could be like 20 feet around. Strawberries spread. But yeah, it's all interesting stuff to learn about. It's a beautiful Vancouver, Washington day. There you guys have it. My update. Still got pears coming in. Neighbor lady's bulbs, they get pretty shaded. As you can see, that area gets full sun all day. Very important.
I'm gonna have to use your charger while I'm there.
Very important. But yeah, just a little bit even more sun, they do that much better on the yield. If I can get them, they're probably late summer, or even in a few weeks, they'll probably get like closer to 8 to 10 hours of direct sun, and I'll see maybe even a dramatic increase. But right now, early spring, that's all we're getting right now. But definitely by June or July, the sun will be out till like 10:30 at night. It'll go down, and they'll probably get direct light for a good 12 hours at the most, and then I'll start to cut back, and then I'll probably move them in the house, and HPS and fluorescent and LED light, maybe plasma too. There you go. And see, I don't have any molasses, but I got this farm fresh honey. I'll give it a try.